Hello, dear friends. I think that you started to write down your assignment. There are the clear-cut video already I have put about the assignment. Watch it and understand and write down in a separate pages. Each paper has a separate assignment and which assignment you have to submit. Okay, dear friends. Today we discuss the same paper, paper 7. Introduction to Restoration Age and Age of Pop. Here we have to complete it. Those are the more than 10 or 12 acquaintance of the book review, and even that we completed the characteristic of Restoration Age or Age of Dryden, characteristic of Age of Pop or Neoclassical Age. Then I put the development of novel or the rise of the novel, and then the next there are the remaining the periodical essay in unit 2, and in unit 1 there was the restoration comedy or comedy of manner and restoration satire. We completed within the 2 days. Okay, dear friends, here today we discuss about the restoration comedy. First of that, you remember the restoration time period. The restoration time period is 1660 to 1700, and that was the John Dryden. Because John Dryden contributed a lot, and that's why this age is known as the Age of Dryden. But here we can say, discuss about the restoration comedy. Or restoration comedy is called the comedy of manner. We studied paper 6, Charles II. He can pass his year of exile in France, and when he came on the throne of England in 1660, so he take away those are the scholars, we can say his friends and fashions, and we can say literature of France with him in England. And due to that, we know about that, the history is already there. The King Cromwell, after the beheading of his father in 1649, the Charles I, a public execution, he was beheaded. In the history of England, he was the first king. He was publicly executed or execution of the beheaded. એના પિતાને 1649 માં જ્યારે ચાર્લ્સને મારી નાખવામાં આવ્યા, જાહેર પરિવાર સજા કરવામાં આવ્યા, અને ક્રોમવેલ the parliament, Cromwell government, the Oliver Cromwell, the Commonwealth government rule over that, and Oliver Cromwell was ruled there. He closed the theatre. He closed the theatre and closed with the funfair festival and parties. You can say those are the parties. Here, that after that Oliver Cromwell that died, then Charles II become the in 1660 become the king of the England, and he reopened the theatre. But the taste of the people were totally changed, because after the strict this lockdown, we can say that they have to feel freedom, and they become too much freedom, they have to become the danger. So sorry, Charles II ગાદી પર હતા અને થિયેટર ખોલી દીધા, પણ લોકોનો ટેસ્ટ કાંઈ લોકો લાંબા સમયથી થિયેટર બંધ હતા. લોકોની વિચારસરણી અને એ સ્વતંત્રતા મળી, લોકોએ સ્વતંત્રતાને સ્વચ્છતા ફેરવાઈ ગયા, લોકો મોજ મસ્તી પડી ગયા. અને ચાર્લ્સ II પોતે પણ ઇંગ્લેન્ડ ફ્રાન્સમાંથી ઇંગ્લેન્ડ આવ્યો હતો રાજા તરીકે. એ એક્ઝાઇલના વર્ષો ફ્રાન્સમાં કાઢ્યા હતા, એટલે એ પોતાની સાથે ફ્રેન્ચ ફેશનથી પ્રભાવિત હતો. those are the writer of that time. They started to imitate they are starting to write down the comedy or comedy in a different way. Okay, that's why you can say that first of all try to understand restoration comedy, because the period is called the restoration. First you remember you study the comedy, romantic comedy. In the romantic case written by William Shakespeare. In that comedy of humor written by Ben Jonson. and there was a fall down because Puritan age, transition age, and there other age there was a metaphysical poetry, Paradise Lost, Paradise Regained, religious poems, and this kind of the classical writing was going on. But once again, after that, the comedy will take place, important place in the history of English literature. That's why the Restoration comedy or comedy of manner is the brightest chapter in the history of comedy. કોમેડીના ક્ષેત્રની શું સૌથી બ્રાઇટેસ્ટ ચેપ્ટર ગણવામાં આવે છે. It is called the brightest, સૌથી પ્રભાવશાળી તેજસ્વી ચેપ્ટર ગણવામાં આવે છે. Here we understand only why it is called the Restoration comedy. We can understand because it is written in the Restoration period. But why it is called the comedy of manner? Do we understand that? Because this type, the comedy of manners, are reflected and presented the manners, modes, convention, not of the lower classes, but of the upper classes of the society. Comedy of manner is the comedy. Which type of the comedy? They reflect, प्रतिबिंबित करे છે, રજૂ કરે છે. એક કે મેનર, રીતભાત, મોડ, પ્રણાલિકાઓ, નહીં કે નીચાઓ. Generally, tragedy is the tragedy of the better man, and comedy is the comedy of the worse man, a lower man. But here it is not comedy of the lower class, but it is the comedy of the class of the upper class of the society. And the comedy manner and the Restoration comedy is the comedy of the upper class of the 18th century. We can use the upper class or aristocratic class or sophisticated class of the 18th century. એટલે 18મી સદીના ઉચ્ચ વર્ગના રીતભાત, પ્રણાલિકાઓ, પરંપરાઓ, ફેશન ને રજૂ કરતી કે પ્રતિબિંબિત કરતી કોમેડીને રિફ્લેક્ટેડ કે પ્રેઝન્ટેડ કરતી કોમેડીને શું કહેવામાં આવે છે? કોમેડી ઓફ મેનર. મેનર એટલે ઇટ્સ અ મેનરલેસ પર્સન. આ તો મેનર વગરનો વ્યક્તિ છે. રીતભાત બોલવા છે, રીતભાત ના હોય શું કહે છે આપણે? મેનર. It is called it is the comedy of manner. And third one that we can understand that these are the characteristics of Restoration comedy. We know about that. We can discuss about that. Why should that? The first one we can discuss is the influence of on Restoration comedy or imitation of French model. We know about that. First, before I discuss about the Charles to pass his year of exile in France, he was highly influenced of the French literature and French model. So here, those are the Restoration writer. They did not go to for inspiration guidance to the early Elizabethan writer or Elizabethan or University, but they decided to follow the ancient classical writer in the prose, and other side they decided to follow the those are the, they have to mix up the classical writing and the models as a French writer. The French comedy written by those are the writer. We can Bocquet, Pascal, Facit. These are the writer. They wrote the French comedy, and these are the style of their writing. The Restoration writer imitate. The Restoration writer imitate their style, their themes, their methods, and they had because these are the kind of comedy performed on the courts, and they try to happy the prince. They have to, without any kind of the intellectual, they have to blindly imitate the style of the French writer. And here we can say that the comedy of Molière was changed into the harder, more closely lit from which like warmth and depth inside in the Olympic. Here we can see the Pascal, Molière, Postcard. These are the writers. They have to follow the comedy of Molière and other writer, and they have to apply that style and technique in the English comedy. Second one, the intellectual and refined tone. What happened there? Intellectual refined tone, because in the sentimental comedy, or we can say the romantic comedy, there was we can say appreciate in the romance. There was we can say appreciation or presentation of the beauty, dreams. We can say that there was we can say emotion and sentiment. But here, what happened there? It is a intellectual type of comedy. Here the we can say that because why should it is called intellectual type comedy? Because that was a generally we know, dear friends, generally we know about that. Comedy appeal to the mind and tragedy appeal to the heart. Do you remember that? કોમેડી શું કરે છે? મનને અસર કરે, અપીલ કરે છે, અને ટ્રેજેડી છે હૃદયને અપીલ કરે. So here it was an intellectual comedy, intellectual and refined. There was a form, there was its form, and we can say that other characters dialogue is that is plot, then use that dialogues, characters, everything was very intellectual and managed, and it was a refined from that. Those are the, it was just like the classical way of the comedy of Ben Jonson. It is different from the romantic comedy of William Shakespeare. That was, it was a intellectual and refined type of comedy. Third one, we can say that it was a high London society, representation of the high London, or you can say aristocratic London society was represented. That here we can say that 18th century London society. It is those are, we can say that the character of that. Why should we call them? It explains the mode, manner of the upper class society or sophisticated society of the high state of London, because it is performed in the theatre, and it is not possible for the lower class people or middle class people to watch the performance of the comedy in the theatre, and that's why it is, the comedy moves around the higher class people. Those are the, here I can say that here they have to use the aristocratic people, and they change the word for war. They use their mistress, for the gallant. They use the for the pimp. They use the friend, and this kind of the word they change there. And here the upper class women, princess, upper class woman, a courtier, a man. We can say that we can say giddy girls, naughty married ladies, because fopps. These are the character of this kind of upper class of society, and reflected that more men, there are pretty party, coffee houses party, and other parties. They have to replay in the center of that. In the center of this, you can find out that this mood in this romantic comedy, or you can say in this restoration comedies. Further, it was sex and licentiousness. Sex is the center of the sex and licentiousness. Sex you know about the physical relationship, શારીરિક સંબંધ, અને licentiousness એટલે વિલાસતા, કામુકતા, and these are the center of this theme, because those are the, we can say that about that its plot. What is called the real out of that plot is the plot of intrigue. Intrigue is the Tao page, Kawada. What is the meaning of this? Tao page and Kawada. Here the intrigues of those are the very women. They intrigues against their husbands, and they cheat their husband and establish an illicit relationship with his boyfriend, and those are the girls and the boys. They have to outwit their parents, their guardians, and they are arrange the very intellectual types of the intrigues. And that's in this comedy there is use of the brilliant wit. Brilliant wit, it is the brilliant wit is the part of that comedy. Wit, we have to say that wit is the buddhikta. Here the brilliant wit in the sense of that the dialogues are very witty. You can understand that it's not easy to understand that sometimes the sparkling wit was used by those are the writers. And those are comedy writers. Who they are? You have to write down here them. Ithrace, Vesely, Congress. They have to use the intellectual wit, and witty people can understand that. Otherwise, if you cannot easily understand, those are sparkling. Those are, we can say that is sparkling, brilliant wit, and you can say brilliant or sparkling dialogues. Dialogue they are sparkling, spark. Jokes કહેવામાં પહેલી વાર તરત ખબર ના પડે. If you are conscious that a smart way of the expression, the dialogues are very sparkling and brilliant, witty. Wit was organized in the theme, and the character are also, we can say that witty, upper class people, highly educated people, and then we can say, but here they are show their fopperies and hypocrisy of these upper class people. Through it is created the comedy, and through that it is comedy, and the you can say that these are the characteristics of restoration comedy or comedy of manner. You can say that influence on of restoration or you can say imitation of French modern. Second, intellectual and refined tone. TON. Third, high London society reflected. Or you can sex and licentiousness in its theme. Licentious theme. Then you can say further its plot of intrigue. Then its brilliant dialogue, and last one the character. And now we discuss about that. Those are the contributors. They contribute in the field of the restoration comedy, and they are the major writer of. They are the ethrace, and you can ethrace love in the term. And that of comedy itself suggests that the title of itself suggests that love in the term. That suggests that we can say find out that license TSS વિલા કામુકતા આ દ્રશ આની અંદર જ દેખાઈ રહી છે. સેક્સ એન્ડ લાઇસન્સ થીમ વોઝ ઓટોમેટિકલી રિલેટેડ ઇન લવ ઇન ટર્મ. Then which second William Wycherley he can note more the country wife and the other was the Lane Wheeler. It was written by Wycherley. The two play. Most popular play of Wycherley is Country Wife and the Plain Wheeler. And the most brilliant and master writer of this comedy of manner is Congreve, William Congreve. And William Congreve he contributed a lot. He contributed the wit to the dialogues and used the witty dialogues and we can say sparkling we can say dialogues in his comedy. And these are the Congreve's most popular comedy are Way of the World, Love for Love, The Way of the World, Love for Love, The Old Bachelor, and the further we can say the Way of the World, Old Bachelor, The Double Dealer, The Double Dealer. These are the most popular comedy of these are the most popular restoration comedy. And we can say that these are the writers, and they have to set mostly the setting of this restoration comedy families, familiar places. You can say coffee houses, clubs, or you can say palaces or house is the setting of this comedy. And the characters are not extraordinary. The characters are the higher class society peoples. They are the character of this comedy. And in this comedy they use the witty and intellectual and sparkling dialogues and sex and licentiousness or intrigues is the central theme of this type of the comedy. Okay friend, you understand the restoration comedy or the comedy of manner. Thank you. Bye.